You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hey, welcome to episode 142 of the Soul Forge podcast.
Welcome to the Soul Forge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Sean Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the Soul Forge.
Hey, it's Sean.
And Tracy.
Weren't you just here?
I was.
Are we recording 2 episodes back to back?
Are we?
I think we are.
Is this some weird time vortex thing?
It's a weird time vortex.
No.
No, it's not.
No.
What are we talking about this week?
We are talking about the list.
Oh, is that the list that I've been hinting at for the last month or so?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes. Time to talk about it.
Yep.
Okay.
I think so.
I think it's a good idea. I was going to do this episode by myself, but I thought, you know what, maybe it's better to have somebody to bounce the ideas off of.
Sometimes that's good, yeah.
So I'm not just talking to myself in a vacuum. Because, you know, that sucks.
You do. God. Oh.
That was funny, right? That was pretty cheesy.
That's like a kind of joke.
It's because I've got a good sense of humor.
Oh my gosh.
Which is one of the things on the list.
I know.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Okay. So, for some background information, for listeners who may be brand new to the Soul Forge podcast, right here on the ESO network, I guess a couple months ago now, my buddy Rene said, Sean, you need to make a list of important qualities that you're looking for in a life partner. And I said, Rene, I'm not going to do that because that's ridiculous. I'll know the person when I find the person. He's like, no, make a list. And he was on it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So finally, I made the list. And I was like, okay, here's the list. And then I went to Sudbury to meet up with Stephanie for her 44th birthday.
Okay.
And her friend came along, and I'd never met the friend before. And the friend was pretty much everything on the list. We connected, and it was very nice. Except the one thing I didn't write down on the list was that she had to be single, available, and local.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So
So my list wasn't very well defined. It was more of a general outline.
Okay. So did you redo your list? Or just scratch those things off?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But I didn't actually write it down on the piece of paper that I have in front of us.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, okay. So the person who I want to find one day has to have all these qualities to a varying degree.
Yes.
And also be single, available,
Right.
local, and interested in me back. Because that's important.
That does help.
Because, you know, I could find this person, and they're great, and they might not have anything to do with me.
I don't know why that would be true.
I don't know why.
You're wonderful.
Am I wonderful? I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're the best.
Thanks.
Okay. We do? Okay. All right, so here's the list. And it's very generic, but I think specific at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So should we just go through the list?
We can go through the list, and then maybe we'll go back individually and break it down? Or?
Oh, okay. Okay, so just go through one at a time and then reverse ourselves.
Whatever you think.
Or should we go...
You're the boss here.
Am I the boss here?
Yeah.
Oh, who's the boss?
You're the boss.
It's me, Tony Danza.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an 80s reference for you. That some of our younger listeners will not catch.
No.
So the first thing I have on the list, it's actually 3 in 1. But
I see that.
Yeah.
Those are really 3 separate things.
They are.
Okay.
But I just put them on the same line.
Okay.
So the person needs to be kind, honest, and intelligent.
Yes.
Okay. The second thing I asked for was mentally and physically healthy.
Yeah.
The third thing was financially stable. Number 4 was attractive to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Number 5 was a good sense of humor. 6 is a taste for adventure.
Ooh.
Then a good communicator. Passionate.
Yes. Yes.
cultured, and someone who challenges me.
Okay.
So I thought those would be important qualities for a partner to have.
Those are great.
Now we should go back to the top,
Yep.
break them down line by line. But before we do that, and before I forget,
Yep.
we're going to play a promo for another podcast here on the ESO Network.
Great.
Where comedy and commentary collide.
Thunder Talk brings a unique variety show style twist
to the fandom podcast genre.
We drop music from some of today's hottest up-and-coming artists.
We discuss topics of social and political relevance.
And deliver our sideways take on the world at large.
If stand-up comedy,
NPR,
The Millennium Falcon,
And classic MTV had a baby.
it would be Thunder Talk.
Thunder Talk is part of the ESO Network. Find us at thundertalk.org and on all podcasting platforms.
And wasn't that a great podcast promo?
Absolutely.
Are you going to go check that out?
Probably.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the podcasts here on ESO, fantastic. Yes.
Great
indeed.
network. Great network.
It's a great network. Yes. Okay, so first list on the list. Kind, honest, and intelligent.
Okay. One at a time.
Yeah, kind.
Kind. How do you measure that a person is kind? How do you, see that?
You could just kind of tell.
Okay.
Like, are they caring? Do they treat the waiter nicely?
That is a really good way of judging. And not only, another kind of a similar example would be somebody below them in the workplace or something. Do they treat the janitor
like
just,
they treat the CEO? Yes, that
Exactly.
famous line there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Yeah.
And kind can have all kinds of different qualities.
For sure.
It's just very generic.
Yep.
It's an umbrella kind of thing.
But so important.
And you can just tell if somebody's kind or not, usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
think I would want that in any partner or friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an ideal quality. I think that's
Yeah.
why it was number one on the list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, you can tell when people aren't being truthful.
Sometimes you can't, though. So that's why this is super important, because if somebody can be deceitful,
Oh, like a narcissist.
yeah, then being honest is it's hard to rate these, right?
It is.
And I guess that's not what we're trying to do, but honesty in a relationship is so important about everything.
And are they honest with themselves?
Yeah.
Like, do they know who they are? That's kind of what this is about, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And honesty is sometimes a hard quality to have, because everybody tells little white lies.
Yeah, it is true, but I think on the big things,
Right.
yeah.
So that's important. Yes.
Yep.
Intelligent.
Yeah.
You don't want a frickin' moron.
No.
No.
You want to be able to have a great conversation.
That's sexy. You know
Yeah.
what's sexy? A real conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that.
About unimportant things, maybe?
Could be anything from the heat death of the universe all the way to what was on Survivor last night.
Yeah.
You know, just like, are we having a good back and forth?
Yeah, a good talk about it.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
Yeah, and you can tell if somebody's intelligent or not.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like-
By the way they speak, by the things they talk about, lots of things.
Yep.
Yep.
So kind, honest, and intelligent. First things on my list.
I think those are really good things to have at the top.
I thought so. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing was mentally and physically healthy. Now that is so open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Like, mentally healthy. Like, everybody's got problems.
Everybody's got problems. I think it's, do they know how to manage them?
Are they working on themselves?
Right.
Like, that's mentally healthy. You could have all
Yeah.
kinds of issues,
Yeah.
but still be mentally healthy. Like,
Yeah.
or working towards it.
Yeah.
It's a goal that you have.
Yeah.
You know, like, some people just don't care.
True enough.
So-
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, I wouldn't have considered myself mentally healthy,
No, you were having some issues.
but I'm really getting there.
You are.
Yeah,
You are.
so it just shows that as long as somebody is putting the time and the work into being happy and healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And 10 months ago, back in April of last year, I was not mentally healthy. I episode whatever it was, I think 101. I was it's my existential crisis episode.
Yeah.
I was losing it.
Yeah.
I had to call the employee assistance plan helpline. I got some counseling. I wanted to work on myself. I wanted to be better than what I was. So I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I think.
And that's not something that just all of a sudden you get there and
no,
you're done.
It's a process.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And then there's the physically healthy aspect.
Yeah.
Like, are you taking care of yourself? Like, you don't have to go and work out all the time, but are you trying to be the best version of yourself. Like, for example, I've recently removed sugar from my coffee and went to stevia,
Yep.
and I've lost 2 belt loop sizes.
Wow.
So, and that's only been a month and a half.
Yeah.
So just getting rid of the sugar poison.
Sugar poison.
Sugar poison. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's what they call it. Processed sugar is poison.
Yes.
So I wanted to get rid of that, and I tried this other thing. And it's expensive. It's like crazy. But it's working.
Good.
So
It's important.
people who work on themselves, trying to be a little bit better than they were before. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I thought that was important to have on the list.
Yeah. I like it.
And financially stable. That's a tough one.
Oh, yeah. It
'Cause
really is.
I did that money episode a few weeks back. Am I financially stable? Maybe. I'm working on it. Like, I'm not perfect. I have debt. I got my mortgage,
Yeah.
my credit card bills, whatever. But I'm working towards it.
Okay, so what would you say is not financially stable then?
It's a good question. Somebody who just spends money like willy-nilly.
Okay.
You know, like I was with one lady who had 2 credit cards maxed out and like making minimum payments. She could have made more payments, but no. She just
Okay.
wanted to buy stuff just because. So
Okay.
irresponsible.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so like that.
Okay.
You
Makes
know,
sense.
like you can spend money. Like, hey,
If
go
you have it.
Yeah, go ahead. But make sure your bills are paid.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like get the basics covered. Make sure your rent is paid. You have enough food. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I thought that was important.
Yeah.
You know, because one day I'm going to want to travel, and I don't want to pay for the person, just myself and them. Like they should be able to contribute. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I don't want to. I don't want to be somebody's caretaker.
Right.
I want a partner.
Right.
And that's why the list is called important qualities in a partner. Yeah, not important qualities in somebody I need to take care of.
It would have been too long.
Yeah, that's too long of a title. That's right. Exactly. Okay, so the next one on the list.
Good sense of humor.
No,
No, I skipped one.
you skipped one.
Attractive to me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I don't need the person to be like a supermodel.
Right.
It just needs to be somebody that I find attractive.
Yeah.
And everybody's level of beauty or whatever is subjective.
Yes.
So I remember there was a girl in high school who I thought was the most beautiful thing in the world. And everybody was like, oh, she's a dog. But there was something about her.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes chemistry has something to do with being attractive.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Who I think is handsome and who the girl beside me thinks is handsome could be 2 completely different things.
Right,
So,
because some girls like a guy who's bald, some girls who like a guy who has a big, huge beard. Some people don't want a beard. Some people just want a mustache, and most people don't want a mustache.
oh my gosh, I've been trying to convince Daryl to just have a mustache.
And what does he say?
He does not want to, but I am convinced that this is coming up. Like, you're gonna see this everywhere.
You think
soon.
mustaches are making a comeback?
Yes.
I don't think that's true.
Well, we'll see.
I guess so. That's all we can do is wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So yeah, attractive to me.
Yeah.
Not attractive to somebody else.
Right.
Oh, I'm only with her because my buddy thinks she's hot, and
Right.
so I'm
Or you
making
don't
him jealous.
necessarily want like somebody who's a size 2 and a certain height and has certain measurements. That's not.
And that's why on my list I didn't put I want a 5'9"
Right.
redhead with purple eyes or something. Like I didn't. You
Yeah.
know, oh, she has to have 4 freckles on the left side, 3 freckles on the left, or whatever. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
And if she has her head shaved underneath but long hair on top, that would be super hot. Like, no, I wasn't going to be ridiculous. I don't care what she looks like as long as I think she's attractive.
Yeah.
So there you go. Mm-hmm. So good sense of humor.
Yeah. Good sense of humor.
We're fucking hilarious.
You and I?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why we're good friends.
Yeah.
So there you go. And that's what I'm looking for. Somebody who I can laugh with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And I'm super cheesy.
Yes.
So, you've noticed?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm sure the listeners have noticed.
I hope so after 140 some episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody who will laugh at my jokes,
Yep.
whose jokes I can laugh at, who can be silly together.
Yeah.
That is super important.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's such an important part of a relationship is just doing that goofy stuff together where the other day Daryl and I were in the kitchen and we were just like making weird noises at each other. It was so dumb and random, and then I just started to laugh. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love this. This is so fantastic that we can do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
good. And then you even develop your own special language that only you guys have.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
And all the inner, what do you call that?
Inner jokes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Inside jokes. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
That
comes
kind
with
of thing.
time.
Yeah.
And that's important.
For sure.
So then we've got a taste for adventure.
Yeah.
And that could mean anything.
Yeah, I guess it could.
But somebody who wants to travel or go yard sailing on the weekends
Okay.
or just do something other than just sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah. Do you also kind of group that in there? Would you put being spontaneous in there?
Yeah, I like
As part of that?
I like spontaneous. It reminds me of when I first got together with Bishop's mom, Trish, and we were together for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
And in the first little bit, we were just hanging out, and I said, "We should go to the Sioux this or sometime." You know, because I'm from the Sioux, and that's like a 5-6 hour trip away.
Yeah.
She'd never been there; she hadn't met my people yet.
Yeah.
And it was just a throwaway line, something I
Yep.
tossed out. And so a few hours later, she's like, "Okay." I'm like, "What?" She's like, I arranged a babysitter for my daughter, and we're going to go to the Sioux this weekend. I'm like, "What?"
Sweet.
Yeah, like-
I like that stuff.
So she was
Yeah.
good for spontaneity and
Yeah.
adventure time, and
Nice.
it was good. So
Yeah.
that lasted
That's
a long
fun.
time. Yep. So a taste for adventure. It's important. And then way down on the list, but should be higher actually, is good communicator.
Yeah. And that
That's not easy.
no. And it's good at communicating about anything.
Yes, the good, the bad, the uncomfortable.
The emotions and even about sex, like
Mm-hmm.
all that, and you have to be able to tell each other what you're thinking and feeling and what you want and what your expectations are, because for myself historically I've created these expectations, and then when they're not met, then I'm not only disappointed and sad, but I get angry.
But the other person didn't know what you wanted.
Exactly. So that's unfair of me to have that expectation when
Right.
they have no idea.
Of course.
So being able to communicate those expectations is important.
And whether you can do it verbally, or if you have to write a note or a text,
Yes.
as long as you're able to do it
Yeah.
and get yourself across.
Yeah.
Like, because it can be uncomfortable to talk
Yeah.
about certain things face to face.
Yeah. My husband and I have had, like, I don't know if I'd say arguments, but discussions. He would be like in the living room and I'd be in the bedroom, and we're texting back and forth.
Right.
Because that's kind of how we have been able to do that
Yes.
better. It started because we were both at work or whatnot. But sometimes we still do that just because it's a little easier. But it's still getting the job done. It's still getting those words and those feelings out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially in the beginning of a relationship, when you're first establishing your rapport and whatnot, you can't always say the things in person.
No.
And sometimes, or if you can, you have to do it with the lights out, holding the person where you can't see each other's face. You know,
Yeah,
like there's
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
and if you have to text, that's
Yeah.
fine too.
And I mean, communication is something you are constantly working on in a relationship.
And it gets better as you get to know the person.
yes. Yes.
So
Yep.
it's important quality.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And actually, that's where the list ended
Okay.
originally, and then I added these 3 other things
Okay.
after.
If you're loving this podcast, you should tell a friend about it.
Spread the word about podcasts you think they would enjoy. There's something for everyone, from entertainment and lifestyle
To news and politics
and more. Share it on social media.
Believe it or not, some people don't know how great podcasts are, or even how to find and listen to them.
You can help change that with a click. Tell your friends about your favorite podcast.
Thanks for spreading the word.
Yep.
So passionate. That doesn't necessarily mean in the bedroom. It
No.
means in life.
Okay.
In the bedroom is great too,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Yeah.
But
You want some passion there.
like passionate about life. Like, are you interested in things? Do you like stuff? I
Do you
like
have
stuff.
hobbies? Do you?
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like
Okay.
just interested in life and excited about stuff. You know,
Learning and things like that.
bettering yourself, being involved in the community. Maybe that could be anything.
Volunteering.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that.
Some form of that passion.
Like, are you really into a certain author and you read all their things and watch all their TV specials and
Yeah.
their TED Talks and whatever?
Yeah.
Like, are you interested in something
Yeah.
a lot?
Do you love fishing? Do you love history? Do you whatever it might be?
Could be anything.
Yep.
Yep.
Podcasting.
I'm passionate about podcasting.
You certainly are.
I used to be passionate about collecting action figures.
Yeah.
I'm not so much anymore.
So there's some for sale if anybody's interested.
soulforgepodcast@gmail.com. That's right. Exactly.
Sorry.
No, that's funny. That was pretty good. Yes. So passionate.
Yep.
Could be anything. Yes. And then I guess that kind of almost leads into cultured, educated. It could be that's a hard one to define. Knowledgeable. You know,
Yeah.
like it's hard for me to actually explain what I mean by that.
I think my interpretation is that you mean somebody who has life experience.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Like they know what they want. They've been around a bit. They've seen a little bit of the world. What that doesn't necessarily mean they've traveled.
No.
Yeah, they've had some life.
Yeah.
And they know who they are and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one on the list, she challenges me. Like not, hey, stop, don't go any forward. You know, like not that kind of challenges me.
Right.
But makes me try to be a better person.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So what would that look like?
Probably calling me out on my bullshit.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's important.
Yes.
Like I can get stuck in my own head and you know.
We all can.
We all can, of course. And if she can like point it out to me and say, Sean, why don't you take a look at it from this angle? Take your head out of your ass for a second and let's talk about this. Like that kind of thing.
I think that really takes a good bond.
Yes.
To be able to do that, because not everybody would be as accepting of somebody else saying that. Like you're wanting that in a relationship, but not everybody would be. But maybe the other person does call them out on that, and then it's hard for that person to deal with, because I would have been that person before.
Well, I'll tell you, Trish, at the beginning, she used to challenge me, and I shut right down. So I've grown as a person over the last 17 years, you know?
Yeah.
I think. Like, I wish I could meet Sean from when I was like 27 or whatever I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because I'm not the same guy. That's a decade and a half and more.
Yeah.
So when she would challenge me, immediate shutdown. Shutdown sequence in progress, and I couldn't even talk. I couldn't communicate.
Yeah.
But I've grown.
Yeah.
So...
And even now, though, as much as you want that in a relationship, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
No.
Right?
No, none of the stuff on the list is necessarily easy.
No.
And it's all stuff that's a work in progress
Yeah.
that you grow with the person together and work on as a team.
Yep.
That's what a partner is. It's your teammate.
Absolutely. You're a team.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's important.
Yeah.
So if she's able to challenge me and I can challenge her, and we don't get upset with each other necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, there can be a little bit of uncomfort, because that's how you grow.
Yeah.
You know, my grandfather always used to say, pain is the touchstone of all spiritual progress.
I like it.
So, and he's not wrong.
No, absolutely not. You can't have growth without some sort of, I don't even want to say pain, because that sounds really harsh.
Discomfort?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, so that's basically the list. I've been teasing it for about a month and a half. And it's very generic, but it's specific at the same time. Like,
yeah,
like
because anybody could take this list, and their discussion that they would have about things on this list would be completely different than what you and I just did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So you wrote some notes.
I did write. So my notes are, before I met my husband, I wrote a list.
Okay.
I don't have that list anymore.
You got rid of the list.
I did.
Okay. But you remember some of the things from the list?
I remember some of the things. And he wasn't everything on the list, because mine was a pretty
specific.
Yeah, pretty intensive list. But some of the ones that I did have that I can remember: tall, good job, nice eyes, nice teeth, emotionally aware, good with kids, kind, and patient.
All important.
All important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good teeth.
Good teeth. I don't know why, but
it's a thing.
It is a thing. My husband doesn't have the nicest teeth.
Oh, no?
No, but that's okay. Like, there's so much more to him.
Yes.
Than that. And I will mention that his patience that he has with me, I can be pretty...
You can be intense and unreasonable.
Yeah.
And emotional.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You've told me.
Yeah.
I've seen some of it.
Yes. Only some of it.
Yes. Because I'm not your husband. No. So I haven't had to deal with your bullshit.
Right.
Right.
So his patience is probably the biggest thing in our relationship.
He does have a lot of patience.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen it.
So that's just, I don't think I've ever met anybody with that kind of patience.
No. He's very calm.
Yeah. And I don't think I could have gotten through what I've gotten through without his patience, and I think without his patience, he wouldn't have been able to manage it either, because that cannot be easy for a spouse, to manage somebody like me.
So what you're saying is you put him through a lot of stuff.
I definitely have.
Yes.
You know that.
I do know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All very good qualities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he didn't necessarily match everything.
No.
But that's okay. Yeah. Because it works.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
Now, I haven't mentioned anything on any previous podcasts.
Oh.
And it's not there in Facebook land.
Okay.
But recently, I have met someone who is single, or not anymore. A local.
Yep.
And available.
Yep.
And interested in me.
Yep.
She has all these qualities on the list, but she exceeds them.
Exceeds.
She exceeds the list.
How?
She's just amazing.
She's amazing.
Yes. Like, I can't describe the kind of person she is, but
yeah.
pretty friggin' fantastic, I
That's
gotta say.
awesome.
And eventually I'll talk a little bit more about it.
Okay.
And about her. And so
Yeah.
on. It's still fresh, it's still new.
Okay.
But it's awesome.
Good.
And it's great.
Yeah.
So that's what I got.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you've met her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quickly.
There wasn't really
much interaction.
No, just the nature of where we were and stuff. But
yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to spending some time with her.
Yes, it's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
We should remind our listeners again, as last week we talked about Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yes.
They should all go buy that book.
Yep.
Read it.
Yep.
We're going to talk about it on an upcoming episode in the next little bit. Mm-hmm. It's an orange book. Go find it.
Yes.
Or check it out on Audible.
Yep.
Or any of those other places where you can get
maybe
audiobooks.
check the library, ask a friend. If so there's options.
Because it's a bestseller. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Go check that out. Mm-hmm. And until next time, I guess that's pretty much it. Was there any final thoughts that you had?
I don't think so. I think if you're single, I think it's great to make a list, but also have realistic expectations. So, like I said, my husband did not meet everything on the list, but the certain things that he does meet are absolutely wonderful, and we are a great match.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You're a great couple.
Thanks.
One of these days I have to get you on, both of you, for one of those love story success podcasts that I want to sprinkle throughout the year. Much like I did Josh and Kitty a few weeks back.
Okay. I'm not sure he would do that.
I don't know. We'll have to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because not everybody wants to be a podcast guest.
Right.
But we'll work on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for being my co-host for the last couple of weeks.
No problem.
All right.
Happy to
And
do it.
I know you are. And you're a great co-host. And you're all great listeners out there in podcast land. So thanks for coming by. Thanks for downloading, subscribing, checking out the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, all the things. And until next time, remember, I only crave the real thing. Miss me with that imitation stuff. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Soul Forge podcast. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope you'll tune in again next time. Remember that you can visit soulforgepodcast.com for all of our social media links. And don't forget to share the show with everyone you know. The Soul Forge podcast is your best source for living your best life.
Think about it.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.